Hi everyone, I'm Park Se-jung, your host for this interview. Today we have a very special guest here. Joining me today is Mr. Narotama Aryanto, the President Director of Indonesia's Securities Investor Protection Fund, or SIPF for short. He will help us understand what Indonesia SIPF is and how it protects investors. Hi, thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. So could you give us? Oh yes,
Yeah.
perfect.
Thank you.
So could you give us a quick introduction about yourself?
Yeah. Thank you for having me. My name is Narotama Aryanto, President Director of Indonesia Securities Investor Protection Fund, or you can call ICPF.
Oh, okay, thank you. Is this your first visit to Korea or have you ever been here before?
By the way, this is my second time to Korea.
Oh, all right. So what was your first impression of South Korea and Korean people?
But nice weather, nice food, nice people, right?
Right.
감사합니다.
Oh, so you like Korea, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
K-drama, K-pop is very favorite in Indonesia, by the way.
Oh, very good. I'm really happy to hear that. All right, now shall we get down to business?
Yeah, okay.
Could you describe the circumstances that led to Indonesia SIPF's establishment and outline its main responsibilities?
Indonesia SPF was established in response to the increasing need for investor protection in Indonesia rapidly expanding capital market. As market participants grew, particularly among retail investors, it became evident that stronger safeguards were necessary to protect investor assets from financial misconduct and unforeseen risks. A significant event that accelerated Indonesia's formation was a major fraud case involving a broker-dealer in Indonesia. The management was found to have engaged in fraudulent activities, resulting in substantial losses of investors. The incident exposed vulnerabilities in the market and underscored the urgent need for a formal investor protection framework to prevent similar occurrences in the future.
Oh, I see. Then why do you believe that we fundamentally need to offer protection to investors in capital markets?
The capital market is a trust-based industry, and investor confidence is a must. Indonesia ICPF was established to restore and strengthen this trust by ensuring that investors are protected from risks beyond their control, thereby enhancing market stability and long-term sustainability.
Oh, that is a great point. And now I'm curious to know what the mandate of Indonesia SIPF is and what specific responsibilities it has.
Recognizing the critical importance of investor confidence, Indonesia ICPF was established with the primary mandate of administering and managing the Investor Protection Fund, or we call IPF. This responsibility includes structuring and executing investment plans for the IPF, ensuring its sustainability growth, and investing unused funds to optimize value while maintaining liquidity for potential claim. By prudently managing these resources, Indonesia SPF ensures that the fund remains sufficiently capitalized and readily available to fulfill its role in protecting investors.
So, one of the priorities for you is to ensure the IPF is well managed, growing, and has sufficient access to liquidity, right?
That's right. And beyond fund management, efficiency and transparent claim handling is a cornerstone of Indonesia SPF investor protection framework. In the event of lost assets, Indonesia SPF follow a structured process to assess, verify, and process investor claims in accordance with regulatory guidelines. This process is triggered when the Financial Services Authority, or we call OJK, declare a loss of investor asset and confirm that the responsible institution is unable to insert them.
All right. So, from your perspective, what is the role of investor compensation in the broader financial system, and why do we need these safeguards?
Okay. Investor compensation play a critical role in maintaining trust, stability, and participation in the financial system. Investors need to feel assured that their assets are protected, especially in the face of unforeseen circumstances such as broker insolvency or misconduct. Without adequate safeguard, fear and uncertainty can undermine market participation, hindering economic growth and financial inclusion. Beyond individual investor protection, compensation schemes contribute to the overall stability of capital markets. When investors know that their funds and securities are safeguarded, they are more willing to engage in long-term investment, ultimately fostering market liquidity and resilience.
Then, in the case of Indonesia, what is the level of financial literacy about capital markets compared to the banking industry?
In Indonesia, for your information, where financial literacy remains a challenge, investor protection is not just a regulatory requirement. It is a necessity to build confidence and sustain market integrity. Compared to the banking sector, financial literacy in the capital market remains significantly lower. The presence of a well-structured investor compensation scheme, such as the provided by Indonesia's Sipf, is essential to bridge this gap by providing a domestic and international investor that the market operates under a transparent and reliable framework.
Oh, I see. And these days, digital banking is undergoing rapid developments, and we're increasingly seeing new and diverse investment products. Against this backdrop, what efforts are being made at Indonesia SIPF to enhance investor protection?
Technological advancement in the financial system have intensified competition among investor industry, making capital market more challenging than ever. The rapid rise of digital trading platform, algorithmic trading, fintech solution, and cryptocurrency investment has shifted Indonesia's preference toward alternative financial instruments that often offer more convenience. If the capital market doesn't continuously evolve its security and protection framework, it risks losing investor confidence as people may prefer to allocate their funds to financial sector they perceive as safer and more resilient.
And what is the cap on the coverage offered to investors?
The Investor Protection Fund, or we call IPF, provide compensation to eligible investors who incur losses due to the inability of broker, dealer, or custodian bank to return their asset. The compensation is capped at maximum to 100 million rupiah, or equal to 12,000 US dollar per investor, and 1 billion rupiah, or equal to 6 million US dollar per case. However, protection is only available to investors who are clients of Indonesia SIPF members, the security broker-dealer, and custodian banks.
Under what circumstances is compensation triggered, and what is the compensation process look like?
The compensation process begins when the Financial Services Authority, or we call OJK, determine that an investor asset loss has occurred and confirm that the responsible broker-dealer or custodian bank is unable to reinstate the loss of asset. Once this is declared, Indonesia SIPF issues a public notification, after which its investor have 3 business days to submit claim. A claim committee and verification team are then assigned to process this claim in accordance with applicable regulation.
Wow, it sounds like you have a very well-designed investor protection scheme. But in order for it to function properly, the scheme should be backed by a well-capitalized fund. What is the scale of investor protection fund at Indonesia SIPF? And in your opinion, is that sufficient?
As per January 2025 data, the investor protection fund stands at 353 billion rupiah, or equal to 23 million US dollar. The fund is sources for mandatory contribution paid by securities broker-dealer and custodian banks, as regulated by Indonesia Capital Market Authorities. In the other hand, we have Investor Compensation Reserve Fund, or we call CGLP, which is to be allocated as IPF in case of emergency. We can activate when insufficient IPF to cover the investor loss happen. And now our reserve fund, or CGLP, is 150 billion rupiah, or equal to 10.5 million US dollar. These market participants are required to allocate a portion of their fees and revenue to the IPF, ensuring a continuous and sustainable financial safety net for investors. Indonesia SPF is responsible for managing this fund prudently, investing them in accordance with regulatory guidelines to preserve and grow the fund while maintaining its liquidity for potential claim.
And Indonesia is emerging as one of the fastest growing economies in ASEAN. And against this backdrop, could you tell us how Indonesia SIPF is contributing to greater trust in Indonesia's financial market?
Yes, you're right. Indonesia, with its large population of over 270 million people, has immense potential to become a leading player in the global financial market. As one of the fastest growing economies in ASEAN, the country is experiencing a surge in capital market participation, driven by both domestic and international investors. However, a rapidly expanding investor base requires strong safeguards to maintain confidence and ensure sustainable growth. As for Indonesia SPF, one of the key factors in building this trust is existence of a strong investor protection mechanism. A well-functioning investor protection system reassures market participants that their investments are secure even in the face of financial disruption. This is particularly important in Indonesia, where financial literacy in the capital market is still developing, and investors, especially retail investors, require additional safeguards to mitigate that risk. Indonesia SPF play a critical role in reinforcing this trust by managing the Investor Protection Fund, or we call IPF, ensuring that investor assets are safeguarded.
Yeah, and I heard that your scheme has a special feature or system designed to further strengthen investor trust. What is it?
Okay. A key factor distinguishing Indonesia is its commitment to Sharia compliant finance, making it the first country to establish a fully integrated end-to-end Sharia-based capital market system. This approach enhances investor trust, particularly among those seeking ethical and faith-based investment opportunities, while positioning Indonesia as a global reference for Sharia-compliant investor protection. Sharia finance has also proven to be more stable, particularly during crises such as the 2008 global financial crisis, where its principle, risk sharing, asset-backed transaction, and ethical investing help mitigate systemic risk compared to conventional finance. By integrating this principle, Indonesia SPF provides a more resilient and sustainable safeguard for all investors, both Sharia and non-Sharia market participants.
I see. In addition to protecting investors and ensuring the financial health of a fund, what is the equally important to educate investors about capital markets and regulations? And what are you doing on that front?
Yeah, recognizing that financial literacy remains a major challenge, particularly in the capital market where knowledge is still significantly lower compared to the banking industry, Indonesia SPF actively collaborate with various stakeholders to improve investor awareness. We work closely with the OJK, self-regulatory organizations such as IDX, ID Clear, and KSAI, as well as institutions outside the capital market sector to educate the public about investor protection. On an international level, Indonesia SPF also engaged in cooperation with global investor protection institutions such as KDIC or Korea Deposit Insurance Corporation, among others. This collaboration not only strengthens Indonesia SPF position in the global investor protection community, but also ensures that we stay updated with international best practices, regulatory development, and emerging risks to be well prepared to navigate change in the financial landscape and implement best practices that further enhance investor protection in Indonesia.
I understand that Indonesia SIPF is conducting a range of studies to improve its investor protection framework. Could you elaborate on that?
Investor protection must continuously adapt to market dynamic, regulatory advancement, and technological innovation. In line with this, Indonesia SPF is currently in the process of amending the Financial Services Authority regulation to expand the scope of protection to cover additional investment instruments. This initiative is a direct response to the evolving financial landscape where digitalization and emerging investment products are require a more comprehensive safeguard framework. Furthermore, this regulatory enhancement aligns with the mandates outlined in Financial Sector Development and Strengthening Law and the OJK Capital Market Roadmap, which specify that the Investor Protection Fund shall extend coverage to mutual fund and securities crowdfunding. This expansion reflects Indonesia's SPF commitment to strengthening investor confidence and ensuring that protection measures remain relevant amid shifting market trends.
But isn't there a risk that extending coverage to mutual funds and securities crowdfunding could undermine market discipline and result in overprotection of investors? What do you think?
Yeah. The mechanism for this extended coverage is still under discussion. Indonesia SPF continues to engage with regulator and industry stakeholders to formulate an effective and sustainable framework. The objective is to strike the right balance between investor protection and market development, ensuring that any new provision support financial stability while fostering a dynamic investment ecosystem. This strategic initiative ensures that Indonesia SPF remains agile and responsive to global best practices, safeguarding investors in an increasingly digital and complex financial environment.
All right. And Indonesia SIPF is closely working with foreign investor protection agencies, including SIPC, JIPF, and SEGC. Could you share your views on why investor protection organizations need to cooperate internationally, and how those in the Asia-Pacific region can work together?
International cooperation among investor protection organizations is crucial in today's interconnected financial market, where cross-border investment and emerging financial technology present new challenges. The rise of cross-border investment, digital financial services, and international capital flow means that financial risks are no longer confined to individual jurisdictions. When a financial crisis, fraud, or market disruption occurs in one country, the ripple effect can extend across multiple markets, impacting investor confidence globally. Therefore, investor protection agencies must work together to create a harmonized and robust safety net that protects investors regardless of geographical boundaries. Indonesia SPF, along with KDIC and JIPF, has taken an active role in fostering international cooperation with SIPC, CIPF, and SEGC. Our discussion during the International Compensation Scheme meeting in Budapest and Nice helped lay the foundation for the KDIC Asia Pacific Forum, a significant step toward enhancing regional investor protection. This initiative strengthens regional investor protection by facilitating knowledge sharing, policy alignment, and regulatory adoption.
If memory serves, the 2025 KDIC Asia Pacific Forum is taking place tomorrow. And I heard that there would be global discussions on different investor protection schemes in major countries and their alignment with international standards, with the focus on international cooperation, right?
Yeah. The 2025 KDIC Asia Pacific Forum focused on key issues such as balancing financial innovation with consumer protection, expanding coverage to new financial instruments, sustainable financing for investor protection fund, and regional strategies for compensation scheme. Indonesia SPF participant allow it to stay at the forefront of global investor protection standard while contributing insight from Indonesia's evolving capital market. Beyond crisis management, international cooperation enables investor protection organizations to develop standardized approach in areas such as compensation mechanism, regulatory framework, and investor education. With the increasing adoption of fintech, digital asset, and alternative investment platform, new risks continue to emerge that require coordinated response across multiple jurisdictions. By strengthening collaboration, investor protection agencies can collectively address these challenges, ensuring that investor safeguards remain effective in an evolving financial landscape. Furthermore, our collaboration at the global level gives Indonesia SPF the confidence and agility to adopt international best practices while tailoring them to Indonesia's unique financial ecosystem.
Okay. Are there any specific challenges or areas of improvement Indonesia SIPF should address in the future?
While Indonesia SPF has made significant progress, several challenges remain in ensuring investor protection evolve alongside Indonesia's growing capital market. One of our key priorities is enhancing investor awareness, ensuring that all market participants understand the protection available to them and how to access it when needed. Another crucial area is adapting Indonesia's SPF framework to accommodate technological advancement while actively combating illegal investment, fraud, and financial misconduct, which threaten the integrity of Indonesia's capital market. The rise of unregulated investment schemes not only causes direct financial losses to investors, but also damages overall market credibility and investor confidence.
You just mentioned enhancing investor awareness and adapting to technology and innovations as future challenges for Indonesia as IPF. Is there anything else?
Illegal activity often exploit gaps in regulation and investor awareness, particularly with the rise of digital platforms that fraudulent scheme easier to promote. To address this, Indonesia SPF must work closely with many parties to strengthen oversight and enforcement. This includes enhancing monitoring mechanisms, increasing transparency, and promoting early detection of suspicious activities before they causes widespread harm, as well as committed to enhance the IPF coverage and numbers. At the same time, public awareness campaign and direct engagement with market participants are essential in building a more informed and vigilant investor base, reducing the likelihood of fraudulent activity taking hold in the market.
Lastly, could you briefly talk about your vision for Indonesia as IPF?
Okay. On a global level, Indonesia SPF continues to collaborate with international investor protection organizations to stay updated on best practices and emerging risks. As insight from the 2025 ICS International Conference, they are currently on discussion of Web3 technologies, asset tokenization, and digital finance regulation highlight the urgent need for investor protection scheme to evolve in response to financial innovation. While Indonesia may have been relatively late in establishing its investor protection fund, Indonesia SPF remains committed to strengthening its international presence and credibility. By continuously refining our protection framework, leveraging technology, and fostering cross-border collaboration, Indonesia SPF aims to position itself as a benchmark institution in investor protection, capable of safeguarding investors while contributing to broader financial stability in Indonesia.
This has been really insightful. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. And I wish Indonesia SIPF continued success and hope you have a great time in Korea.
Thank you. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. All right, this wraps up the interview with President Director Narotama Aryanto of Indonesia SIPF. Thank you very much for watching.